noogly.
Yeah. This is a distinct noodle taste.
It is noodle.
Not noodle.
This is a noodle. Hi everyone, my name is Tiana.
And I'm tired.
Okay.
And I'm Ashley. Otherwise known as Tired.
And this is WongaGyal, the podcast, your favorite Caribbean food podcast. This episode of the WongaGyal podcast is sponsored by Central Trading Company Ltd, a local and international product and food service distributor specializing in Chinese food items such as likum key sauces, pickled and canned goods, herbs and spices, rice and noodles. Lots and lots of noodles, which we will be talking about today. Noodle time.
Noodle,
but not just noodle.
Chinese food.
Chinese food in Jamaica. Now, this was actually a suggestion. One of the suggestions that we got when we were asking our listeners what they want in season 2, and someone had suggested they wanted to hear us talk about Chinese food and the importance and significance of Chinese food in Jamaican food culture.
I don't know about it being significant in Jamaican food culture. I know it's significant in my food culture.
No, I would say it's pretty significant. Like,
of course it is.
You hear people talking all the time, say Jamaican Chinese food is top tier Chinese food. And this means a lot to me because I am Chinese, if you didn't know.
Be honest, who didn't know? Tell me who never know.
I am Blackanese.
You Blasian?
I'm Blasian.
Stop.
Yeah, no, I grew up, my grandfather is directly from China. Straight
out of China.
Straight out of China. Yeah, I believe him come from the Hong Kong region, but like me not really too know because
didn't he like not speak English?
Yeah, but you know.
So how him and your grandmother end up?
I ask this question all the time, and nobody can give me a straight answer.
The power of a Jamaican woman.
The power of a Jamaican woman and the power of Chinese food. I must that. But so my grandfather was fully Chinese, and my grandmother was Blasian. She was half black, half Chinese. And yeah, so I grew up eating Chinese food all the time.
Same, but I ain't got nothing tied to Chinese people.
No, like, well, like I grew up, as in like when I would come home from school, there would be a bowl of juk waiting for me.
Oh, nice.
Like that, because I used to live beside my grandmother. We definitely had a Christmas one year where it was just Chinese food. It was like Christmas ham, macaroni and cheese, chow mein, sweet and sour chicken. So yeah.
Oh, that's vibes.
So yeah, it was vibes. My family is pretty big on their Chinese food culture. So all of that to say, I think Chinese food is really important, or not really important, but it has its own space.
Yeah, it's significant
in Jamaican food culture, right? And for some reason, the food just tastes good.
Yeah, like, it's not for some reason. The people them can cook.
Like I feel like no matter who you are, I
don't think I've ever met one person who said them don't like Chinese food.
Yeah, like even if all you eat from a Chinese restaurant is sweet and sour chicken and white rice,
it tastes good.
It still tastes good.
Do you have any favorites?
Favorite like restaurants
or food?
I'm a basic bitch. My go-to.
Excuse me.
My go-to lunch menu item really is like I just get like the sweet and sour chicken because I can't bother like lunchtime, like a good sweet and sour chicken with like a pineapple in there and some white rice. That's it, the spot.
That's good.
The spot. But for regular, like if I go to a Chinese restaurant, like I'm not one of those people that needs to order sweet and sour chicken.
Okay.
I really like a good chop suey or chow mein. I really love like the roast chicken.
I just realized that we've been friends for like a decade and I don't know what you order on a Chinese food menu.
I don't think we've really gone out.
I think I can remember one time we've gone out to eat Chinese
Same.
food. I mean, dim sum don't count.
Yeah, no, dim sum is a whole different ball.
Dim sum is a whole
we'll
different
get to dim sum
episode.
later. We'll get to dim sum later.
But yeah, I don't know what you would normally order as a meal.
Because honestly, like if I go, like I'm very like I'm willing to try anything with Chinese food. I don't think
That's
have
how
a
I feel
regular
about it too.
order. Like if I was to go with people, I wouldn't be like, I have to have this, I have to have that.
No, anything
I'd be
for me
willing.
with Chinese food.
Me need some pork on the table though.
Yeah.
Like you can't be Chinese and don't eat pork.
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
Chinese or no Chinese, I'm an advocate for it. So and I love it anyway at all you give it to me. Roast pork, sweet and sour pork. If you want curry the pork meal, try it and eat it same way.
Yeah.
I love duck.
Yeah.
I really love duck. And recently, well, I wouldn't say recently, but I really like certain restaurants roast chicken. Not everywhere. The Chinese roast chicken is good. Surprisingly, you know that Deli in Sovereign, Deli Works right beside Cafe Blue, they do a very nice Chinese roast chicken for lunch.
I didn't know
It's
that.
very,
I
very
don't think
good.
I've ever gone to them.
Yeah, it's very nice. But you know, I feel like there are certain meals that people associate with Chinese food, which is always their go-to, especially as Jamaicans. So you know, them always want sweet and sour chicken, them always want special fried rice, and them always want chow mein.
I actually will be a little controversial here and say I don't like fried rice. So I go. I'm a white rice fan. I'm a white rice purist.
How do we move on from this? How do we go forward?
I think I'll never forget. I think one time we went to. Were you there? I think it was sixth form. We were in sixth form and we had all gone to China Express.
Yes, I was there.
And I remember everybody at the table was like, I want fried rice. And I was like, no, I want white rice. And I think we ordered a thing of fried rice. And like, I think I was the only person that ate it.
If I mean white rice?
Yeah, the white rice. Sorry. Yeah.
But you know, the meals always come with white rice and the meats. So
no, I was very happy with my white rice. And when it's nice and sticky, but also fluffy.
I love sticky white rice.
Yeah, that's a vibe. What is your favorite like Chinese restaurant in Jamaica?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite Chinese restaurant, but there are certain things on different menus that I really enjoy. So I like the duck from Jade Garden.
You know, I don't think I've ever ordered duck out.
Really?
If you never know, my father have a little duck farm.
Yeah, well, I know. When keep going to the horse then, yeah, man.
Yeah, my father for some reason has started a little
There's nothing wrong with that.
farm of ducks. By his stable. My father is a trainer at Caymanas Park, and
Big up Ten San Chong was featured in the newspaper the other day. I never tell nobody about it.
yeah, same go. Big up 10 cent, big up 10 cent, you know. Yeah, so he has started growing his own ducks.
So you don't buy duck out.
So we don't buy duck. We just wait until the ducks grow, and then
You
my
kill 'em.
auntie will cook them. Either Auntie Pat or Auntie Marie will cook. And so I actually cannot ever recall going to a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, I like the duck from Jade Garden, and you can get the entire duck if you want. You just pre-order it. You can get a whole roast duck for like a family dinner. They're this really nice fried wonton thing that Taurus does that I like too, and the green Thai chicken something from China Express is really nice. So I have like different favorite meals from different places, just like how I prefer the spring rolls from Dragon Court than at Jade Garden, and I prefer dim sum at Dragon Court than Jade Garden as well. But the good thing about Jade Garden's dim sum is that you can get it every day of the week. They have a simple menu.
I didn't know that.
They have a simple menu that you do every day of the week. So when me and Shanice order, we'll get like, if we want a small dinner, we just order 2 bowls of soup and some dumplings, and that's a dinner.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite Chinese restaurant, to be honest. I just go places. Bradley's family loves Jade, so they go to Jade a lot for lunch, so I get Jade lunch very often.
I think what's funny is, I don't know if it's the same now, but back in when I was in undergrad, remember how like Chinese restaurants have like lunch special, and as a university student, that is what you want, you know, use the first opportunity to buy lunch out on road during the week, because before you coming from high school where you're restricted, so we used to be very adventurous with where we would go for food. And I remember that back then Jade Garden had the cheapest lunch special, and I was very surprised by it, and I'm wondering if people never know about it, because when you hear Jade Garden you hear expensive, and at the time,
I'm not gonna lie,
because in general Jade Garden is expensive, and I don't even want to tell you how much money I spent for a bowl of soup and the dumplings the other day. Anyway, we would go to like Taurus, and at Taurus the lunch menu was probably, the lunch special is like $550, and at Jade Garden is only $500. So I was very impressed by that. And the good thing about Jade Garden is that you can choose to get meals without MSG. To be honest, sometimes I really just want greasy Chinese food.
Eat what you want, eat, you know? Like,
I'll actually crave greasy Chinese food.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, like, that's why, honestly, sometimes you just have to get a little noodle them, because the noodles
always greasy.
The noodles have the grease. I feel like we couldn't talk about Chinese food without, because you know, like, how Chinese food reach in Jamaica. Look at Jamaica, like, look where China is and look where Jamaica is. Like, how has Chinese food become such a staple in our food culture,
in our cuisine?
Yeah, in our cuisine, and it really is
indentured labor,
which colonization people like. Damn.
So if you did not do CSEC history, when slavery was abolished, there was a need, obviously, for a labor supply, which was also very cheap, but you know, they couldn't get it for free afterwards because slavery offered free, but now you have to pay for the labor.
Yeah.
So they sought out people to come from Asia, and the first set of people actually came from, I think there was a time where people from Portugal came, and then the supply of people who came, it wasn't large enough, and then they tried the Chinese population.
So, of course, this would be the post-Emancipation era. So, everybody knows Emancipation happened 1839,
I think. Something like that.
Around, it was like 1834 into 1838, 39. Because, you know, things just don't change overnight.
Also, certain countries, I think, abolished before others.
Yeah. You know how it goes. The red tape of it all.
Plus, there was a lot of ambiguity with it. Because remember, the slave trade was abolished.
Yeah.
And then slavery was still a thing. Yeah. And then slavery on a whole was abolished in the Caribbean.
Yeah. So, say all of that to say, Asian flavors did not exist in the Caribbean before that, right? If any Asian flavor did exist here, it was because you had a white man that went over to Asia on whatever trip he went on, and he came back with a spice as a tourist, right?
As in spice, as in a woman? Like he brought an Asian woman with him. That is how I see it. That is how white people carry spice. Anyway, that's another story for another day.
But yeah, so it's reported that the earliest ship of Chinese migrant workers came to Jamaica in 1854. So 1854, you're now seeing the first wave of Asian people enter the space of the Caribbean, right? And they're here, and obviously they're gonna bring their cuisine,
of course,
because they have their culture with them, and they're gonna bring it with them. Like, you can't expect them to just come there and like.
But it's similar to how
jerk
the enslaved Africans came and brought their culture. They brought their way of cooking, their way of life. So obviously we expect the Chinese to do the same.
Exactly. So what I find so fascinating about Chinese food, well, Jamaican Chinese food,
there's a distinction.
And there has to be a distinction, because, and that is, the distinction is what I find fascinating. The distinction of when you go to China itself, you're not going to find the same flavors in Chinese food.
I've been told.
Yeah, I've been told as well that it's just not the same. And
Wonga takes China coming soon.
Pray for us, guys. Pray for us. Wonga tour China.
Wonga tour Asia, because remember we have to go Japan and get the Wagyu beef.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Imagine you're like a Chinese person in China. Properly, you grow, you live there. You're now being told that you're now being offered a contract, because that's what it was, to come to the other side of the world. And mind you, this is the quote-unquote new world. So I'm thinking that a lot of Chinese people before had never even thought to venture over to the Caribbean.
Plus, they were having labor issues over there. Like, people were unable to find work. So that's what the main purpose was, that the men would leave their families, come to the Caribbean to seek work, because they told them they'd get some good pay.
Right. So I can imagine they're like coming to this new place, and remember, them never have internet and them thing back then. Well, what is a social media?
Phone,
what is an Instagram girl?
Computer.
You don't know nothing, right?
Influencer, don't know her, she don't exist.
Exactly. You must just pack up everything. You must pack up your bouillon cube and your soy sauce and your cuisine sauce, and you must carry your wok with you. And me would pack all of that up to come with me on my ship. So you pack all of that up, you come to Jamaica, right? But then, all right, let's say you're in Jamaica for maybe 2 months. Your soy sauce done.
You have to find something
you
else.
have to find something else, and I think that is how the Jamaican Chinese flavor was
the Chinese
born.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really not Jamaican Chinese food. Is Chinese food that has been influenced by the Jamaican flavors. You know, and I also think Jamaica had an entire food culture before Chinese set foot here, right? There was an entire combination of African flavors with European flavors, because everybody and their mother drink tea. And so there was this amalgamation of European flavors with African flavors, and then you had those unique indigenous flavors like jerk and stuff like that. So there was already this really flavorful mix going on,
and they just added theirs to it,
and then you just boom add a whole another layer. Like,
and I mean, obviously, even if you haven't been to China as yet, for people who have even traveled to the US, you'll realize that there's a distinct flavor between the Chinese food you have there versus here. Mind you, some of the best Chinese food I've had abroad is like Chinese food from the mall, like fast food Chinese. It's really good. Like some Panda Express Chinese. That's orange chicken when them have going on over there. Then put them foot in there and big up to Panda Express for it. So you see that there's a distinct taste between, you know, just Chinese food outside of Jamaica.
Yeah.
So obviously there has to be some influence from Jamaican cuisine, where there was some infusion in the different cultures that we had from before, which had us with the result of what we have now.
And I think too, it must have been. I think it's a combination of one, coming to a new place and being exposed to all these new flavors, right? So like, as a Chinese person coming to Jamaica for the first time, you're now tasting all of these foods that were not familiar to you, right? And so you must be like, I wonder how this would have tasted in a ramen. I wonder how Scotch bonnet would have tasted in a roast chicken, you know? Like, I feel like those things must have gone through people's minds. And then on the other side, there is, you want to find those flavors from home, but you can't really find them exactly as they were from home, because we're in a different terrain. The climate is different. The availability of vegetables that we have here is different. So I'm sure that a lot of Chinese people at that time were being very experimental, trying to find
something as close as possible to the original flavors.
Because I remember in them time there wasn't a lot of export and import. At least there was, but it wasn't as fast.
And it also wasn't for the purpose of satisfying the palate of the Chinese man who was an indentured worker on the plantation. Yeah.
So I think a mixture of those two things then creates this very unique flavor.
And we thank God for it.
God no.
Oh my God. Listen. On a Sunday morning, if you guys follow me on Twitter, 10 times out of 9, I'm talking about either going to dim sum, wanting to go to dim sum, or say I just had dim sum, so I'm gonna lie down and sleep. Right?
Yeah, no. I think dim sum though is one of those. It's like a pocket of Chinese food that I feel like a lot of Jamaicans don't know about.
Yeah,
a lot of people. I mean, it could be argued that is a very uptown thing.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I never had dim sum before you.
Yeah,
the first dim sum experience was because you took me.
Right,
and I thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, if you don't know, dim sum is basically Chinese. Well, it's come to be known as Chinese breakfast in Jamaica. It's not necessarily Chinese breakfast in China,
because I have it for dinner too.
Yeah. So dim sum is really, it just means it's really just like little bites, like little eats. So it really started because, you know, in China, people, you know, walk foot times, and there were a lot of tea shops because, you know, China, and so once upon a time, you know, you'd be walking for these long hours and you'd stop at a little tea shop and you have your little tea, and someone just decided, hey, let's not only serve tea, let's
serve some dumplings.
Let's add a little spice, and that's how dim sum came to be. And thank the Lord, that happened
Listen,
before indentured labor, because it reached over in Jamaica and me love it.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Whoever started that dim sum movement, you deserve a medal.
Facts.
Let me tell you, I'm a slut for dim sum. I can't put it in any other words. Oh God.
Yeah, it's really just a combination of like little dumplings, shrimp dumplings, pork dumplings,
pork and shrimp dumplings,
you know, sour bows, spring rolls,
noodles,
all
chicken
these
foot,
things,
spare ribs, greens.
Yeah, it's just really a lot of little dishes, and it's like kind of like a sample.
We should go to dim sum on Sunday.
You're very really full. Honestly, I wouldn't. Might go.
We just might end up over there.
Now that you know, we've spoken about what makes Jamaican Chinese food.
Jamaican
Chinese food, right? I mean, of course, we're in Jamaica, so you would want to specify that we're eating Chinese food. But would you even say that it's Jamaican Chinese food, or would you just say it's Jamaican food? Because it's so unique to Jamaica. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like it's not traditional Jamaican food in terms of like it's not ackee and saltfish. It's not oxtail.
Yeah, it's not traditional, but it still holds a space.
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
cuisine.
it is Jamaican food, because you cannot find that flavor anywhere else. You cannot find that Jamaican Chinese food.
I think we should do this as a poll or a Q&A on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
For this episode, we should ask what people think. Do you think that Jamaican Chinese food can just be referred to as Jamaican food because of its distinct taste? Or do you have to specify that it's Jamaican Chinese food?
Yeah. Because I can tell you, even the Chinese food in Trinidad tastes different.
Really?
Yeah.
Like significantly?
Yeah, I could tell. I was like, this don't taste like Timmy.
It tastes like doubles.
You also not in Trinidad? Oh my God,
it tastes like curry Chinese.
Ashley, then put ketchup on the chow mein, Ashley.
Take off the mic, Meg, leave.
Ashley, I'm in a Chinese restaurant. I'm away from like a Chinese lunch, and I see the man order chow mein, and the man just open the box and spray the ketchup all over the top.
Man like him now goes to Zion Gates, you know, like there's no way at all he's being let in through the pearly gates.
I have never been so shook in my life.
I would have leave, you know why? Because clearly them can't trust the chow mein and have to put ketchup on it. I would have to I'm gonna tell the waitress to cancel my order.
Trinidadians put ketchup on put ketchup on pizza. The pizza that already have tomato sauce, then put the ketchup on top of that.
Ketchup is not even that great of a condiment to put on anything.
Actually, and in my opinion, like,
ketchup is so no. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. But see, I love that to say. Clearly, I think every Caribbean country, every quote unquote new world country, I think has their own variation of Chinese food tastes like, because the population was different. Like Jamaica got way more Chinese people than Trinidad did. Trinidad got an influx of Indian people.
Yeah, so what happened with that was when the first set of Chinese came for the purpose of indentured labor, they realized that Chinese people weren't necessarily suitable to work on the plantations to the extent of which it was necessary, and the productivity wasn't that great, the output wasn't that great within the time space that they needed, which is how the Indians came in afterwards. And then the influx of Indians, they kept on bringing in more and more Indians, simply because they allegedly worked better than the Chinese under the conditions.
Yeah.
So you'll realize that certain Caribbean countries have more Indians than Chinese.
And what I found out as well while I was studying in Trinidad is that the reason why Trinidad ended up with so many Indians is because when the boats were coming from Asia, obviously they'd stop at Trinidad first, because Trinidad was like...
And the Indian people, them say, yo,
and
them
say, yo, we can't go with this. Them not go back on the boat, them a come off. So that's really and truly what happened.
The man them bail out over Trinidad and say, yo, this is where I'm gonna settle.
Whoa.
That's crazy. Yeah. Geography is a hell of a thing.
It's a hell of a thing.
I wonder if people realize that geography played such a huge part in our history. Like,
geography plays a huge part in the food that we eat.
Yeah, like it's
as well.
No, that's what I mean. Like with history and how everything that came out of that history has been created and influenced contemporary society. Like something as simple as look at the first thing you learn in geography in first form is about the Bering Strait, and what did the Bering Strait facilitate? Movement of people to the new world. Like it's crazy. Because simple as that, Trinidad have Indian people because of how geography sets up. Trinidad over there, so and them never want to go further, so them stop over there. No, Trinidad has a huge Indian culture. Like that's crazy.
And even when you think about it too, like there's so many things that for instance, you know that like the Chinese population is what really pushed the use of cabbage in Jamaica?
No.
You couldn't eat no cabbage and bully beef if it wasn't for the Chinese people? Well, you probably could, but I'm just saying, we like Chinese people like that's
cabbage.
That's crazy to me.
Cabbage is a staple in Jamaican meals.
Yeah, it's a staple in Jamaican meals, and I feel like cabbage was already. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on this. I think cabbage was here before the Chinese, but the intensity with which people cooked with cabbage did not exist until Chinese people came. And I think that's crazy because so many people eat Chinese now.
Cabbage.
So many people eat cabbage.
It's funny because it's actually your uncle who introduced me to like different ways in which you can cook cabbage. I never know say you could make cabbage soup before Uncle Merton told me. Yeah, he's the one. I want to say Uncle Merton told me about cabbage soup. I want to say back in like 2014, and I was like, cabbage soup.
Yeah, cabbage soup.
He might teach me how to make it.
Cabbage soup is very, very
and it helps
good.
you to lose weight.
Yeah, that's a true.
Something that he taught me.
Also, when you're breastfeeding.
Why did you do that to your breast a while ago? Like,
this is also important, you know, but when you're breastfeeding, you know, I mean, breastfeeding is food. I guess it's like a Chinese remedy. You know, when you we wouldn't know. we ain't never breastfed before. But apparently when you're breastfeeding, sometimes you'll get little like, the milk will like clog up sometime, and you'll get like little lumpy lumps and it hurt and thing. If you put a cabbage leaf over your breast, it will like suck out. I'm
glad you said that, because now we can talk about the influence of Chinese medicine and food. Did you know that if you put an onion in your socks, it can help with regulating proper organ functioning as well as cleaning toxins out of your blood?
Yeah, well, you know, reflexology.
I was about to say Chinese people are big on reflexology, which is why somebody told me that one of the best foot massages you can get is actually in China, because they know a lot about reflexology. So there's like a specific spot in your heel that is connected to your organs, which is why the onion, you know how when you cut an onion you cry? Apparently the enzymes contained in onions is also powerful enough to do all of those things for your body.
Wow.
So I was curious one day and I tried it. So they said put the slice of onion in your socks, or put on your heel, put our socks over it to keep it on, sleep in it, and when you wake up the next day you'll feel like energized and you'll feel good. It might be a mind over matter thing, but I did feel nice when I wake up the next day. So big up the Chinese for influencing us as well.
There you go. You know, Chinese medicine is a big thing.
Of course.
Thank Chinese people for Tiger Balm.
Really? I never know that.
Yeah, Tiger Balm is a fully Chinese product. And Tiger Balm, if you look on the bottle,
every Jamaican old person household have a bottle of Tiger Balm. Like, I remember
in a Tiger Balm.
When I was growing up, if somebody opened Tiger Balm in the house, no matter how big the house is, you go smell the Tiger Balm. Like, that shit is powerful.
Save your life, save my life many a time.
Yeah, because you used to broke up your foot them all time.
Lift up the coal off of my chest, so you mean...
You used to use Tiger Balm for that too?
My grandmother put any ailments you have, she gone for the Tiger Balm. Jesus. But anyways, we're going off the topic of food. But
actually we're not, because we're still Chinese influence in Jamaican culture.
Yeah. And even like drinking green tea. That's big Chinese.
Jasmine tea.
Yeah, there's so Chinese people have, or not Chinese people, but Chinese culture has really just permeated through Jamaican culture in almost everything. In food, in medicine,
and what's
in
funny
business.
Is everything that we're talking about now is coming from the history of Chinese migration into Jamaica. But now we're seeing bigger Chinese influences now where most people will know about the trade wars between China and the US. And why was that? That was because China is becoming more of a superpower than the US. And that has to do with their power in globalization.
Yeah.
And we're seeing so much foreign investment from China in Jamaica and other Caribbean islands.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing their presence over the years,
Yeah.
and we've been feeling their presence. So it's something where we're kind of coming full circle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Chinese kind of started and put their presence in the Caribbean, and now they're maintaining and
Yeah.
building a new history, building
That's
a new
true.
foundation, building a new legacy in the Caribbean as well. We have so many things now that we utilize and make our lives easier because of China.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
highways, oops,
Highway,
reach back
a
up
lot
Kingston
of-
in 2 minutes.
A lot of tech solutions.
Of course, buildings, even so, building styles, development styles, it's all modeled off of Chinese manufacturing and Chinese technology.
Yeah. And of course, food.
And of course,
And
food.
of course, food.
And to me, food is the best part of all of it.
Yeah.
To me especially.
in our opinion, in our humble opinion.
Or humble, unbiased.
Yes. Yeah. All right, and now the time has come to taste some noodles. Boy,
Did you get a reference a while ago?
Yes. Central Trading. How much noodle this, Ashley?
Holy yo, they
1, 2,
hooked
3,
us
4,
up.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different kind of noodles.
Remember when I told you guys I was on a diet?
This while, but you know.
We gonna taste. So
We
which one we
gonna
doing
taste.
first?
So let's do the vermicelli noodles first.
Okay.
So guys, so what I've basically done is cooked all of them in the same like chow mein style, so we have like a controlled flavor. We're really trying the different noodles, so you know, we have lee kum ki soy sauce, sesame oil, hoisin sauce, oyster sauce, Zhaoxing wine, as well as some
rice wine vinegar,
yes, as well as some
onion powder, ginger powder,
and garlic powder.
garlic powder,
There we
okay.
go. We're just there for taste. We're there for taste. All right.
Don't want to all eat miss.
So you serve yourself.
Thanks.
So first up is the vermicelli noodles. Vermicelli is like a broader noodle.
It looked like linguine.
Yeah. I believe it's called ho fan. That's the Chinese name. Not bad.
No. This is definitely a noodle that you don't need a whole heap of creamy sauce with. It's good by itself.
It's a noodle that holds on to flavor by itself. Like, you don't really need to put it in a nothing.
And you can use it for your Alfredo pasta.
Yeah, honestly, like
Yeah, just feel like it could be Alfredo vibes.
if you can't find, if you're at home and you want some Alfredo one day, you really could use this vermicelli for it. All right, we are gonna end our one nougat coma after this. On to the next.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll me home, you know. Which one is that?
These are the Beijing noodles. So Beijing noodles, as you can probably tell, it's a popular noodle in Beijing. It's a much smaller noodle.
And smaller means smaller in size.
Yeah.
Meaning width. As compared to the
Diameter.
previous one, which is like a linguine look.
This feels
This
like
remind me of, oh god, it's not coming to me. Oh god, I don't know the name of it.
this is nice though. Actually, I like this. It's a skinny noodle.
It's very simple. And it's very obvious that the noodle itself have some flavor.
Yeah,
Because it tastes different
from
the one
the
before.
vermicelli. Yeah,
Like it has
that's
its
true.
own taste, and I'm really into it. So we're gonna put this in the top 5.
Yeah.
So what that? Belgian? No.
Beijing.
Same thing. Beijing.
The Beijing
The
noodles.
Beijing noodles. Yeah, I really like it.
All right. Next up is their instant noodles. So this is like supposed to be that really quick drop-in pot.
So Tiana and I were saying that this one you can use it for like ramen.
Yeah, I
I think
think
have like ramen consistency.
I
I
think
think like ramen too.
this would be the best like quick ramen noodle for sure. Yeah.
This is 100% ramen noodles. Oh.
It's soft.
Like melt in your mouth soft.
No man, this bad.
This one have a good baseline to work with, so it don't have an overpowering taste where it would clash with seasonings. So it's very good to work with, which is why it's perfect for ramen.
This would definitely be nice.
I'm into it.
In like chicken stock for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
but that is not the right cover, miss. See it over there, so listen, it's noodle chaos in this place
It's
right
noodle
now.
chaos right now. So these are the plain noodles.
This look like pad thai.
Yeah, this does look like a pad thai. Jesus Christ. This is like a pad thai noodle. Yeah, definitely a closer to pad thai noodle for sure.
Even in the taste, not just in the look and the texture.
It has almost like a little sour
Like
flavor
taste.
that pad thai usually has. A pad thai usually has a little sour
This could
under.
be very nice even in like a sweet and sour sauce to me. I'm into it. So at first it's a little sweet and then it kind of hits you with a sour afterwards.
Yeah.
A little tangy.
Yeah. I like that.
This one
Jesus.
definitely, I realize that most of these noodles definitely have their own flavors. Because you can, even though we use the same sauces as the base for everyone,
Trust
you
me,
taste
guys.
the difference in them. And I'm really into it.
Because we only know like cup soup and like little chow mein, like people think that oh all noodles must taste the same. No, they do not at all. Like all right, next up we have the Chinese style noodle. I don't know what that means,
Yeah.
but it's Chinese style, so they're a little flatter and wider, not as wide as the plain noodles,
Which is what we described
which
as
is what we
the
just had.
the pad thai.
Yeah, this is more close to like a chow mein noodle.
I'm wondering if you're saying that though, because this is one of the last ones that were made, and the sauce
freshest,
is
you
and the
think?
sauce is still like present properly
Maybe.
on the noodles. But again, it still has a distinct flavor. I just
Yeah.
can't identify it.
This is not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel the same way. Yeah, I feel the same way about it. Like the first one that we described as linguine. What I want to name.
Vermicelli.
Oh, I can't read whatever you wrote on that, miss.
Vermicelli.
All right, put it over here with the vermicelli.
Uh-huh.
Not bad, you know.
Not bad, but
It in second place to the ones we have on the next corner. We'll soon tell you which ones.
all right. So now we have the Taiwanese style noodle. So this is like a thick noodle. This noodle
Like egg noodles.
This noodle I feel the thick as them.
It's a thick body noodles.
It's a thick body noodle, and so they're really they're really wide.
Let me tell you, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, you need to go through the Wonga files and figure out why we keep on referencing thick body things. It's very important as Wonga listeners to find out about what that inside joke or where it came from.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so this is like a really wide curly noodle. It's kind of curly.
Wow.
Noogly.
Yeah. This is a distinct noodle taste.
It is noodle.
Not noodle.
This is a noodle. I like it though.
I wouldn't eat this by itself.
Yeah.
Plain. Like I'd just eat it by itself.
Yeah.
Like if I cook soup, I'm gonna just drop it in there.
Yeah, no, that bad.
Yeah.
Big up the Taiwanese noodles.
I figured that's how I like this one a lot still.
Big up the Taiwanese noodles. That
Put
bad.
it over there, so.
Alright, so now in the same style of the Taiwanese noodle, we have the buckwheat sliced noodles. So it looks a lot like the Taiwanese noodle.
They look identical to
But
me.
instead of being made out of regular wheat, like the Taiwanese, it's made out of buckwheat, which apparently is like a superfood. I don't know.
We learn something new every day.
Yeah, apparently like it's in this diet that Adele used to lose a lot of weight.
Inject it into my veins. Give it to me. Thank
Like,
you.
it's just like you eat a lot of like buckwheat pasta on the diet. I can't remember what it's called. How do you feel about this?
It's a little bit of indifference. I guess it's because we probably shouldn't have tried this one and the Taiwanese noodles back to back.
Maybe.
Because they're very similar.
But I'm not opposed. Like
No,
I
it's
would
just
eat
good
this.
noodles by itself.
Yeah.
I feel like these are the kind of noodles where you put anything on it and it goes very well.
Yeah, I like it.
No man, this is a good line of noodles.
I like it.
If you guys, well, not if, but since you guys can't see it, Tiana just hit the quan. We'll have what, 3 more?
Yeah, 3 more. Alright, now is the Shanghai Noodle.
Yeah, this one sounds like it could
So
be
we
fun.
went to Beijing and now we're in Shanghai.
These are very skinny noodles.
These almost look very ramen-y too.
Like the ramen that you buy in store, like store-bought
Like a
ramen.
nice ramen, not like no like a cup noodle.
Yeah.
Big up the people of Shanghai. Yeah, this is a ramen noodle. This is a uptown ramen noodle.
Melt in your mouth noodle. Soft. Now al dente naga in this because once it's hit hot water, it just soft. Like butter.
I like that.
I'm into it.
That is delicious.
That's some good noodles.
Second to last, we have the Hang's Noodle.
You sure this is second to last? Oh, yes.
Hang's Noodle, which is another small noodle, but it's like flat. So it's flat and wide, but small.
So like a small version of a linguine.
Yeah.
Miss, why you do the noodles so?
I don't know. Them just itch up, then stick up. Oh, this name melts in your mouth. This
you don't even have to bite it.
This disintegrate the minute it touch your tongue. Wow.
This is soup noodles. This is soup things. I feel like I wouldn't want to have this with like heavy meats like shrimp and beef and chicken. So I wouldn't use it in a chow mein. Definitely little ramen. Like a pot choy, like a pot sticker.
I would say like a vegetable stock, not even like a,
no.
Yeah.
Probably little water seasoning. Simple.
Oh, I love that. Alright. Now we got the last one. Wow, we have been eating noodles for about 15 minutes.
But we're cut through though, because we had like 12 of them.
Alright, this is the last one.
Which one is it?
This is a spinach noodle. So this is why I'm quite intrigued. They're like green. Well, they were green before the sauce. The noodle itself is infused with spinach. So
I love spinach.
Get your greens. Eat your greens.
Yo, you smell the spinach in there, you know, even with the sauces.
Yeah,
this is my favorite.
We can't go on.
No, this is my favorite. This and then
you can use this in like a Singapore noodle, like a stir fry,
because it has that undertaste. It has like that flavor, that aftertaste rather. No man, I love this one.
Yeah man, eat your greens.
This probably is my favorite.
Alright, so Ashley's favorite is the spinach.
I think so.
My favorite is the Taiwanese style, for sure. But they are very good.
Big up Central Trading Company.
Yes.
It's a very good.
Wow.
It's a good haul of noodles.
No go coma no. Thank you so much, Central Trading, for gifting us all of these noodles. This is wild, you know. You really expose us to like a whole new world right now, because
I mean, normally when people go out and buy noodles, them just buy any noodle because them repurpose it and use it for everything that they're cooking. As long as it's noodles, you just buy the same kind.
Yeah.
But now that I've been, I've been shown the light, I will know which one to buy for which meal. Because even the way how it's cooked now with just like the basic sauces and cooking everything the same way, you still identify what will taste good with what, or what will be best with different types of meals. Yeah, I'm into it.
I'm also into it. If you're looking to get into business with Central Trading Company, definitely contact them directly. If you're a retailer, you can look up for the wide selection of noodles in all of your major supermarkets and retailers. Visit them on Instagram at Central Trading JA. Email them at centraltradingja@gmail.com, or call 876-968-1681 for more info on how to partner with the Central Trading Company Ltd. Of course, we want to thank again
our sponsors.
Our sponsor, Central Trading Company Ltd. It was so amazing having, this experience of trying all the different noodles.
And just something different for the episode.
Yeah, and for prompting the conversation about Chinese food and Jamaican.
I'm big up for all of the products that you left in Tiana's kitchen that I will be taking home with me.
Yeah, no, I will be eating noodles for days. So thank you so much, Central Trading Company.
And when you go to the supermarket the next time, be sure to look out for them and the different noodle selection that they offer.
Yes. Lee Kum Kee is probably the most popular brand that they carry. I mean, I feel like anybody who cooks any sort of Asian inspired food has at least one Lee Kum Kee product.
Definitely.
So yeah, so support the thing, guys, and continue to enjoy good Chinese food in Jamaica, because why not?
And as always, stay safe. Remember to sanitize, wear your mask, and social distance. And tune in for the next episode.
See you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.